Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore moments that have shaped who we have become. Today I'm joined by Mathias Lemos Castillo, a culture bridge builder, humanity advocate, and founder of MLC Consulting, helping organization create inclusive space where diversity drives success. It's really a pleasure to have you on the show, Mathias.
Hi there. Thank you, Aravind, and to the audience. Thank you. My name is Mathias Lemos Castillo. I'm excited to be here on
Yeah,
the show
thank you.
today.
Yeah, thank you. So, Matthias, what were some about the challenges or experience that shape you into who you have become today?
Oh, I love that question right off the bat. I think the first one for me that always comes back is moving to the United States from the country of Uruguay. I was born and raised in Montevideo, Uruguay. At the age of 8, my country was going through an economic crisis. My dad was working here as a farmer, had just sent enough money for, my mom, my 2 siblings, move us to the United States. We took the leap, 2003, I believe it was. Yeah. From there, I realized I faced one of the biggest cultural clashes in my life where, moving from a country where I had my family, my tias, grandparents, cousins, everybody around me, and really quickly turned into the 5 of us, my immediate family, in this country that I had no clue, no idea, spoke a different language, and on top of everything, was very cold because we had moved to the state of Wisconsin. That was for me, a big awakening and a big challenge, just adapting to the culture, adapting to the language, to the people. But very quickly I realized the fundamental of the importance of community, the importance of family, and the importance of being the true authentic selves that has helped me grow, expand throughout the years here navigating in the US. I'm no longer living in Wisconsin, thankfully. I'm in California now, so I find myself in San Francisco. It's warmer, and day to day it's always great to see people starting their journey and how they're starting it, and being able to understand the stories that everybody carries.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. A whole lot actually really went up there, and it's the fact that, despite the moving, you're still able to hold up and do what you do today. And I know that period of moving must have been really more like a hard time. And yeah, it's really amazing, man, like just hearing the stories now. And coming from after the struggles, and now you're doing what you do. Yeah, amazing. So what inspired you to start MLC Consulting?
A great question. MLC Consulting is my initial, Mathias Lemos Castillo.
Oh,
That's actually me. It stands for my 3 favorite values, which are mobilize, listen, and connect. Really, for me, it's always been around how do we get people together, and it's changed over the years, but originally in person with the rise of technology and Zoom hybridly too. So how do we get people together authentically? How do we listen meaningfully to the stories that are being shared, the experiences that are being shared, and then ultimately how do we connect ideas, connect people, initiatives? And right now I have the pleasure of doing this work for 4 years. Officially, since I started my business, I've been a consultant for many years before that. Back in college, I've always had a sort of side gig or a project on the side, and really for me, it was always how to be that thought partner, the person that can come in and help audiences engage with newer audiences, with their existing audiences, and within themselves. My business really focuses on, those 3 components that I mentioned, and really tie it to how does government do that work, how does organization, whether it's a corporate or a nonprofit, and small businesses are able to engage that external audiences as well as that internal audience and within themselves. Very much people work. I love being able to engage with people's stories, their experiences, and be able to connect that to tangible actions that reflect what the world and the meaning behind the stories really are that people are sharing. So it's not really coming in and imposing ideas, rather creating and co-creating shared on the stories and the beliefs that we all have within each other.
Yeah, amazing. And I think the initials of your name again, I'll stand for what our MLS stand for, and the fact that you define it as yes, move, listen, and actually connect. And And I think it just speaks volumes to the fact that, yeah, time change. And when you get to listen, you're able to connect across different Asian, different particular perspective and everything. Because as times change, you move and then you listen and then you still connect at every stage and at every point. Yeah, it's really amazing. So what does being a cultural bridge builders truly means in practice?
For me, being a cultural bridge builder means be able to really dig deeper than just that surface level, working with government and saying we reached out to a community and we were there, we listened. Going deeper means we really were able to reach out to a community, understand their stories, understand their experiences, and be able to connect those individuals, those organizations, those ideas to things that really are existing or can be created. So oftentimes my work is hard to explain, mostly because it's really in the realm of how do we move away from what's already been done to move into a realm of what can be done and how might we be able to do it. It's a lot of design thinking and it's a lot of conversations at the same time. That's why the listening is really key and really at the center of the meeting of MLC Consulting for me, because I think truly being able to listen authentically and understand the stories and ask the follow-up questions without making assumptions truly make a difference, rather than going in saying, hey, we have this idea, what do you think? Are you a yes or you no? Okay, thank you for the feedback, and move away without really understanding why people might disagree or why they agree, what is it that they're liking, or what else would they want to see. So it's a lot of questioning, it's a lot of facilitating. And for me, the work has always been how to be that guide during difficult conversations, during new conversations, and even old ones, right? You need someone that can hold the ground, hold the space for the stories, and lean away from what I like to say, an experience versus an opinion, and give more weight towards that first one, the experiences that people hold, and the things that have shaped them, the things that have impacted their lives, over an opinion that is created and doesn't hold much substance. It just kind of hovers, right? And that first one really is truly powerful, and it takes time to build, right? It takes trust, it takes consistency, it takes a lot of values that sometimes organization or man want to move really fast and skip over. It's like, no, you need to move at the speed of trust when you do this work. Trust takes a lot of time, so how are you showing up to build that trust, to then be able to get and collaborate in these efforts?
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. It really just speak. Yeah, it speak well. Yeah, thank you. So how can leaders create inclusive space without making them feel forced or performative?
I think for me, the biggest one that you could do as a leader and anywhere in the world is listen. And listen deeply. There's a listening intelligence exam that you can take online, and it can teach you a lot about your listening styles, and it helps you really understand not just yourself but the other people around you. And once you truly understand as a leader how to listen better, you quit looking for what your answers are, and you start finding meaning in every conversation, and it allows you to dig deeper. I would think for leaders that are really trying to be inclusive in the new world, listening intelligence is something that can really drive your work further and can help you dig deeper into the issues, the needs, the problems that you're solving within your organization or with your groups. And sometimes it also allows you to work with other organizations to try to see where you might have overlap, because you're taking the time to listen rather than to make assumptions or, naturally follow through. The work as a facilitator is one that asks a lot of questions and is curious. So the second thing I would say right on top of listening is curiosity. And I don't mean to use letters that are similar to MLC. I would say, listening and connecting, but I would also say listening and curiosity is also really a lot of the work that I do. And those are really values that I hold true and have come from then. Go a long way when you do them authentically and with the right group of people. Even if they disagree with you, I think that's a good
Yeah.
That's a good opportunity to listen, because then you can understand what is it really that
Yeah.
is not
Yes.
agreeing, and where do you find the similarity, and where do you find the things that are not similar, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Because I think the biggest more like when it comes to conflict most times is the fact that people don't listen. And yeah, just listen to hear people's out and make you notice some patterns, what they are going through, and things you could actually do different to actually make them feel welcome. Yeah, and it's really amazing. So, what is the biggest mistake organization make around diversity and inclusion?
I have a number of these. The first one that came to mind, funny enough, was more of the trying to check a box and really not being authentic with their groups. If you really want to drive that success, drive that, the authentic growth within your organization, diversity, equity, inclusion, don't look to check a box, but look to find the people and meet the people where they're at. I think that alone, that step, will help you reach more than you probably thought you could, and get you farther than we have X amount of hires. Listen to your current hires, listen to who is not part of it, and try to see where can you as a leader bridge that gap, because there's always gaps, and we see it in real time, especially in the rise of AI, and what is it that you can be doing differently. And I think that oftentimes that question, when you're inviting community members, leaders, people within your organization, that can help you a lot in the corporate world and government, nonprofit. So I would say move beyond just wanting to say we did this, and make it more of a practice, make it more of the culture, and invite people to help you weave that into your current practice and culture. So that way it doesn't seem more of performative in a way, and more authentic, and is led by the people that are truly happy to lead that and be authentic and try new things. I mean, I would say with experience, right, there's a big learning curve, and it's exponential, it's not linear. So also lean into that, because it means that at first you might start very, very slow, but quickly it moves really fast. And how do you navigate that? And you need people, you need individuals that trust in the process, that are part of the process, and can help you grow that process. It can be
Yeah.
sustainable ultimately.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. And I think it's really lovely being that not just checking boxes, but to actually more like, yeah, allow them just connect and do some couples of projects together. But that actually by the question too. If we are not actually more like checking boxes to actually get to being able to measure what they do part time and everything. So how do you now measure a community engagement efforts? Community engagement efforts are actually working. How do you measure it, and how do you?
Yeah, there's still a few behind the scene works, counting the people, counting the who is in the room, who shared, right? Those are still present in a way, just for the metrics. I think success is really led for me by the impact, and by the ahas. And the way that I usually do is in two parts. Part one is the official one.
Yeah.
We're gathering here, we're gonna talk for, let's say, 60, 90 minutes. We're having the conversation, and then we pause, we end the conversation. And that's where part two really truly starts. I call it the conversation after the conversation, funny enough, where that second part, where the people, stick around, are having conversations with one another, are giving you feedback, are giving you opportunities for more. I think that's really powerful. And I invite the leaders, the people that are gathering, to continue working during that phase too. Take note. What are people saying? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it something that they might change and solve? Those are all great feedback. Is it something that might have sparked an idea and now they want to try something new? Or even, for some folks, it sparked an idea and they didn't allow, in the space didn't allow, either because of time, or maybe they're shy, or for whatever reason, right? During that first conversation, I think pay attention to what happens in the second conversation and contrast that to the first one. And the second one is very informal, right? It happens once you're done. It happens with the people that might stick around, that linger, that might want to have a conversation, or have, I want to follow up on that, and keep inviting people to just share their thoughts and listen authentically, because then you'll learn more and it'll help you lead to success. Because then people can say, you know, Matthias, I didn't like this, actually I want to do this, or I would have done this differently, and it invites me to say something like, you know, that's great, maybe we can collaborate, or we can try this approach next time. Matthias, this was great, I appreciated the effort, I just have a question on this, and then you can clarify, and it allows you to dig deeper, because if one person at least is telling you they had a question on this, they might not be the only one, and it helps you kind of guide you where you should go then, because the people are guiding, you're being guided by what's emerging in the conversation and what you heard and listened, and how do you contrast that with what you learned in that first part. So there is a lot of behind the scene work still. The metrics, yeah, who showed up, who wasn't here, but then it's really who engaged and who was part of that really tells you a lot more. Were people quiet? Were people, you know, very active? They have a lot to say. I like to provide people opportunities to write, so they'll have like sticky notes or paper of some sort, and they can write that down, and it allows you to go back and see where people are engaging, where they're thinking, especially in a world where, you know, there's so much information going on at once. People are absorbing either, you know, on social media, news, or whatever other media platform they are, or even just day-to-day life, right? There's a lot in one's mind, and success is really how do you engage with folks during that time period that you have, small window, 90 minutes, right? As I said, what is it that you can do in that time to make an impact and make them think, oh, actually, I do care about this, or this is important to me, and these are the reasons, right? And have them either write it down or share it with you verbally. So it can go a number of ways, and it's not typically the traditional, it's just being able to listen and catch on to those moments. And there's usually two conversations. Again, how I said, there's the one you started with, and then there's the one after the conversation. And the second one is really powerful. So tune into that.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So how does bilingual shape the way you connect with different audience?
As I mentioned in the intro, being born in Montevideo, Uruguay, I learned English as my second language. My first language was Spanish, and I see that having both mastery, both language, allows you to really navigate two worlds that are very different. Different in the sense too that you understand the cultural competence and the cultural intel of people, especially in Spanish when they're speaking, the way that they say things, or the words that they use. Having basic knowledge might get you to the feeling, but understanding helps you understand the person. So in Spanish, I'm really able to hear authentically, hear what people are saying, and try to interpret it in a way they might not be heard in English, and vice versa too in English, because I think it means both ways, right? Being able to master the language in two different countries allows you to understand the culture and what their people are coming from. So that's for me where I bring the language barriers that often help. That's a lot of translation, also making sure that the language resonates with people, because you can Google Translate something nowadays, or have AI do it for you, but is it really the language that lands the message the way that you intended to do it in the first place, or is it just translated and now you lost this other audience because you decided to engage in a much cheaper model? So that lens, that equity lens, that cultural lens is really something that I help bring in my work with organizations, with government, and helps create a different access for people. So now they know, okay, I can actually talk in the language that I feel comfortable, and be able to share my feedback and not feel like I'm being alienated or challenging, because now I'm doing it in a different language that might not feel comfortable for me. The individual's talking to me, and we can understand each other and have those conversations more meaningfully. Or a follow-up conversation, right? And allow for folks to express themselves more authentically than they might have been able to do it in the first setting.
Yeah, so true. I think understanding one's language actually speak volumes. In that, I think I had a particular quote that, when you learn how to actually more like speak someone's language, you get to kind of talk to their hearts, compared to when you don't know how to speak to them directly. You might just be talking to their head, and not being able to kind of get much done. But when you actually know the language that knows, it speaks volumes. Mean that same word in one culture does not mean that same word in different culture. And just knowing those different things and applying it differently speak a whole lot of volumes on how they perceive you and how they came to understand things. So lastly, what does meaningful inclusion look like in actions, not just in words?
Meaningful inclusion in action. That looks very different. And I think, and if you're doing that, where if moving you in a direction that you didn't think was possible or you didn't think was able, you're being inclusive. It could be the smallest thing, it could be the big acts too. And I push the organizations to not overlook the small steps, because it is because those small steps you're taking that allows you to take bigger leaps.
Yeah.
A lot of organizations want to take the big leaps, but again, you don't start running, you got to start crawling, then you walk, or you take your first step, then you walk, and then you run, right?
Yeah.
So how are you making it something paced and organic that allows you to take those bigger leaps and be inclusive, whether it is structural, or if you're thinking inclusivity from a mobility perspective, it could be like wheelchair accessibility. Do you have ramps? Do you have elevator? Right, that's a big step. It requires a lot of infrastructure and work. How are you doing that? And it can also look like, the language that you use, the way that you talk to people, right? Is it being more, are you educating yourself and learning what words to use, what words resonate versus what doesn't? Are you learning different, big one that comes up a lot in my realm is like the pronouns. Some folks are like, I don't understand it. Some folks get it, somewhere in between, right? So there's those steps. Engage with them all meaningfully and follow through, because they're not all easy. They're all not hard. They're all just work, because it's people, right? At the end of the day, it's people working with people. It's not something that gets done overnight. It's something that takes time. So lean in, give yourself grace, and if you're truly working towards something inclusive, know that it will get there. It's just how you get there might look different than the next person, and that's totally fine. But at least as long as you have that sight to change, to grow, to adapt, those are good signs that you're moving into a more inclusive environment, because you're already creating the mindset and you're creating the culture and the people to help you be more inclusive, be more authentic, and ultimately building those relationships that are gonna last.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Be more inclusive, be more attentive. Yeah, and you definitely get to build it. Yeah, thank you so much, Matthias. So, Matthias, for my audience who want to connect with you or who want to listen to more to you and how to connect with you or do business with you, how can they reach out to you and where's the best platform?
Oh, appreciate that question. I'm very active on LinkedIn right now, so feel free to give me a follow, and I would love to connect and talk. My website is consultantmlc.com. Happy to chat or engage more, be the thought partner, whether you're a small business owner, a startup, nonprofit, or corporate or government agency. There's always room to work and be more authentic with the work that you do in regards to people.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matthias. Thank you for sharing your journey and your insight into inclusive leadership and authentic community building. Listener, you can connect with Matthias. The link to his websites and that of his LinkedIn is going to be on the show notes so that you can easily connect with him. This has been the Making of Me podcast. It's really a pleasure and honor have you on the show, Matthias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.